This is Glenn Andrews of the Life Doctrines. One of the many lessons that I learned coming out of Morehouse was to be on time was to be late. Of all those other lessons, I remember a long time ago, my mom having to be to work at a certain time. I remember walking across a Las Vegas desert as she pulled me and she carried my little brother. One of the things I remember was her really just having this sense of urgency to get to work on time. This is in Nevada, in a desert, in the early mid-60s. Later on, I remember walking to my mom to the first apartment. I remember spending the night in that apartment and sleeping on the floor. You know, little things like that sometimes get lost in the sense of urgency, in the sense of time, and the sense of family. One of the other lessons I got from my dad, he told me, never leave a job unless you know where the other job is going to be. That story was kind of deep to me because I didn't really understand what he was trying to tell me. But later on, as I got older, I started understanding more about that whole story. See, he always used to tell us, big boys don't cry. But at his big mama's funeral, which was my great grandmother, they had to carry my dad out of the church. This was around 1971, 1972. So I was no more than about 7, 8 years old. That whole thought of big boys don't cry has stuck with me all my life. But the one juxtaposition to that scenario was wondering and trying to figure out why my dad was crying on that day at that funeral. And he finally told me the story. And it was really based on when he had left home, which was in Idabel, Oklahoma, and he had a job and he took that job for granted. He came when he wanted to, he left when he wanted to, and he basically just disrespected his employer. He ended up homeless, he ended up cold, and he ended up starving. My big mama found out about it and she sent for him. When he got back to where she was in Idabel, Oklahoma, and she saw how he looked, all skin and bones, it just brought tears to her eyes. And it made him very emotional, and he felt bad because he knew he had messed up. So that's one of the many lessons I've gotten from my mom, I've gotten from my dad about being responsible, about being accountable, and understanding time management. Like I said, to be on time is to be late. I get that from Morehouse, but it was reinforced by my parents. I see too often right now, young brothers thinking they can show up anywhere for an opportunity and come late, and thinking the last bird gonna get the worm. Nah, the truth of the saying is, it still goes. The early bird gets the worm. So you have to remember, time management, and to be on time is to be late. This is Glenn Andrews, and I am the Life Doctrines.
When I thought it couldn't get no better. It's a true story.